I hate to tell you this, but if you're a Democrat, Joe Biden isn't going to fix your financial problems. Yeah, I said it. And guess what? If you're a Republican, Donald Trump isn't going to fix them either. Do not think that Congress is going to fix your issues with overspending your debt or how much money you have in your bank account. Here's what I can tell you with 100% certainty. Regardless of whoever takes over as the next set of horrible bosses, they will continue to be the reason why you need as much gold and silver as you can get. What is good, Stackers University? Can we just all agree that having a horrible boss is one of the worst things in the world? I mean, I'm willing to bet that each of us have had at least one horrible boss. While I'm not advocating for you to go out and commit a crime or cause harm towards someone else, but I absolutely love the Horrible Bosses 1 and 2 movies. The interplay between Nick, Kurt, and Dale, also known by the company name Nickerdale. Now that's hilarious. If you've seen the movie, you know how hilarious that really was. But for those that haven't seen part 1 or part 2, let me pretend to be Cisco and Ebert at the movies for a moment. My gray hair folks, y'all know exactly what I'm referring to. And hey, I don't want to see any jokes in the comments about how I probably look like a black Robert Ebert. That would just be cold-blooded. Let's just get back to the movie. Basically, the three friends are all fed up with the mistreatment and torment they experience from their horrible bosses, and finally, they've had enough. So they conspire to kill each other's bosses, and the hilarity ensues on from there. Okay, all jokes aside, having a horrible boss can have a significant impact on the quality of your work, your personal life, which typically results in a very negative work environment where employees experience increased stress, anxiety, lower job satisfaction, lower productivity, low morale, and even mental health issues. Dang, that sounds a lot like how a bunch of us feel in the United States right now. But anyway, most of the time we are simply forced to grin and bear through the situation. But what happens when your quote unquote horrible boss is the President of the United States, the Secretary of the Treasury, and the Chairman of the Federal Reserve? Ironically, it just doesn't matter if we're talking about President Biden, Jerome Powell, Janet Yellen, or Sucky Steve, supervisor. We find ourselves in a situation where we just don't have a lot of good options when dealing with a horrible boss. Here's what I've learned. If you focus on your horrible boss and that person being the problem, what options do you really have? You really don't have any options. You can't fire your boss. You can't make them change. Yeah, you can do all the HR stuff you want, but it takes forever and they usually support your supervisor anyway. The most productive and positive thing you can do is focus on what you can control, and that starts with controlling yourself. Again, it doesn't matter if we're talking about the President Biden, Yellen, Powell, or Sucky Steve, because you can't control our politicians any more than you can control your horrible boss. Where am I going with this? And why am I bringing this up? Because we have an election in 3 months, and I'm already sick of the rhetoric and the nonsense that somehow Trump is going to fix everything. And before you get your back all arched up and ready to argue with me, Biden didn't fix anything and he isn't going to fix anything either. I dislike both sides equally. But just listen to what Joe Brown from Heresy Financial had to say.
Both sides will hate hearing stuff like this, but the deficits, the debt, the inflation, markets, GDP, when you look at the averages of each year under each president, left or right, there's no difference.
I'm doing this video not because I like discussing politics on the channel. What I like is discussing financial literacy and how I can help facilitate your learning, hopefully help you earn better returns on your investments. But we have to start being honest with one another and honest with ourselves and admit that the financial system wants and needs us to be broke. That's regardless of what team controls the White House or controls the government. They are all playing for their own team, which is Team Green. Neither side really gives a damn about the quality of our financial lives. They want their power, access to power, and more importantly, the rules that allow them to get rich. Just look at Nancy Pelosi and Tommy Tuberville. Look at their stock picks, and their returns look like they're the new Buffett and Munger together. Listen to what the market sniper had to say.
My personal assessment is people place way too much store on elections and who's in charge. It's the situation. The situation has slowly built over multiple presidents over the last century to a super hyper indebted situation.
Since I've been alive, all the government has done consistently is overspend budgets, debase the dollar, counterfeit our money, shrink the middle class, make housing unaffordable. Oh, and yeah, they gave us this wonderful little gift called inflation.
Look at what the inflation rate was under each president. It grew. I mean, obviously under Biden, it's a little bit higher, but substantially higher. But what most people don't like to hear about that is that a significant amount, like the trillions of dollars of the spending that resulted in a good chunk of that inflation was authorized by Trump. Like the first trillion plus spending package in 2020. That was 2020. It wasn't 2021. But still, there's really no difference. It's two sides of the same coin.
Bringing this all together, they only really care about perpetuating a financial system that makes us poorer and perpetuating a political system that keeps us divided and arguing amongst ourselves while they run off with the bag.
Nobody's coming in to solve the issues, because the only way that you can actually solve the problems is by doing things that are politically unpopular.
It doesn't matter if we're talking about horrible bosses or a horrible government. The solution is the same. Every day we have to control what we can control, and that starts with our financial situation. Do you treat every dollar that comes into your life like an employee? Do you save at least 10% of your income? Do you have 6 months of savings? Do you have a budget and spend within that budget? Or are you a horrible boss too when it comes to your money? Are you in debt? Do you waste your money on dumb stuff? Do you spend every dollar and save nothing? As Joe Brown said, no one is going to fix the broader issues, but you have to do the unpopular things in life to make sure that you are prepared and protected for whichever horrible boss sits in the White House. Get your gold and your silver weight up, because I promise you, it is only going to be more of the same. As the market sniper said, we're in a situation and has been built up over multiple decades and multiple presidents from both sides of the same damn coin.
And the best insurance is you hold your balance sheet in your hand in the yellow metal. Gold will preserve your financial balance sheet.
Gold and silver will help get you through whatever is coming next, but it won't mean a dang thing if you don't have your financial life right. If you already got it right, get it even more righter. Wait, is that even a word? Well, you know what I mean. If it isn't right, start working on it today. If you need help, book a free consultation with me. But please don't get distracted by the horrible bosses in our lives. Focus on being the CEO of You Incorporated and what kind of boss you are to your employees, your dollars. And if we all get ourselves right, the government and our country will have no other choice but to do the same. Until then, keep stacking and get your hands on as many ounces as you can. In the comment section, are you underprepared, almost prepared, prepared, or overprepared for whatever is coming next? Like any of us really know. What are your stacking or financial goals for the end of this year? Or simply put an A+ in the comments so that everyone knows that you always stack smarter and never stop learning.